Welcome to my channel, everyone. My name is Sue, and today we're doing a class that omits forward bends or any kind of forward folds. So the past few days I've been suffering from a cold, and luckily I'm on the mend right now. However, I still do not like doing any kind of forward folds. It gets me all congested. So I thought I'd share with you a class that would skip any kind of sun salutation, forward bends, and perhaps that will be a fun little practice to do. Let us begin in a comfortable seated position. One shin in front of the other, seated tall. Allow your shoulders to relax. Close your eyes. If you're feeling a little congested, you might have to do some mouth breathing, but doing your very best to breathe in and out through the nose. Deep breaths. Let's go ahead and switch those legs around. If you have your one shin in front of the other, place your hands on your knees or on your thighs. Close your eyes still and just touch and circle the upper body. So we're trying to get the body moving, probably sitting around a little bit more if you had a cold or you're not feeling that great. So let's start to stir the body a little. Deep breaths. And switch directions. Back to the center, place that right hand on the ground, take the left hand and reach it over. Try to open up through those side ribs. Keep that left hip grounded. And take the inhale to come back up and over to the other side. Big lift and over. Good, inhale, come back to the center, reach those arms overhead. Let's take a twist over to that right side. Your left hand just somewhere along the opposite leg. Back hand lightly supporting you and a soft gaze behind. Inhale back to the center and the same thing on the other side. Probably a little stiff. Excellent. Come on back to the center. Reach the arms behind you. Interlace fingers. Press the hands away from the body. And then release. So you can just place your hands slightly behind you. You can palms down and walk your feet out in front of you. Feet flat on the ground and let both knees drop to one side. Turn your gaze over to the other side. Inhale back to center and same thing on the other side. Back to center. Okay, once more on each side. Excellent. Come on back to the center. Let's find our way up into standing. So come on to the top of your mat. So I'm going to do this facing you so that you can see. I'm just going to bring your hands into prayer position. With your feet planted flat. Inhale, reach those arms overhead. Interlace fingers, pointed index fingers. Take it over to the right side. Hips to the left. Plant both feet firmly on the ground. Inhale, come back to center. Same thing on the other side. Inhale, come on back to center, release and stretch your arms, bring your hands into prayer position. Inhale, stretch those arms overhead. So you're going to take your gaze up towards the ceiling, expand the chest and press the arms and hands slightly away from the body. One more deep breath like that. And bring your hands back into prayer position. Hands at the chest. With your feet planted firmly on the ground, rotate your chest towards the right side and expand those arms up. Perhaps turning your gaze behind you, so you just want to turn your gaze towards those right fingertips. And come back to center and over to the other side. Expand those arms. Great, inhale back to the center, bring your hands into prayer. Inhale, reach those arms overhead. Exhale, sink into chair pose. And bring your hands into prayer if that's hard on your shoulders. And then inhale, stretch your arms overhead, take a gentle back bend. And exhale, hands back to a prayer position. Let's repeat that. Inhale, stretch. Into chair pose. Bring your hands into prayer this time. Step your right foot back to come into a warrior one. Stretch your arms overhead. Plant the back heel down, firm in the feet. And then you can interlace fingers and press the palms up towards the ceiling as you exhale. Draw the arms and shoulders slightly away from the front. Do one more deep breath. Come on, back up. Bring your hands into prayer. Curl the back toe under. Push your back foot forward. Standing mountain pose. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. Sink into chair pose. Bring your hands into prayer position. Step the left foot back into warrior one. Sweep those arms overhead. Deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose. You can choose to stay here if you like, or you can interlace your fingers and press the palms up towards the ceiling. And take a little bit of a back bend here, trying to open up through the chest. Good. Come on, back up. Bring your hands into prayer. Push, curl the back toe under. Push off the back foot. Come back to standing. Inhale, reach arms overhead. Sink into chair pose. Maybe this time reaching your arms overhead. Walk your feet a little closer together if they're not close together. Bring your hands into prayer. Rotate towards the left side. Perhaps the right elbow is to the outside of the left knee and left thigh. You can extend the arms here if you like. Good. One more deep breath. Bring your hands back to prayer. Stand and reach those arms overhead. Perhaps taking a gentle back bend. And then back into chair pose. Take that left elbow to the outside of the right knee. Option to extend the arms if you wish. Excellent. Bring your hands back to prayer center. Stretch your arms up and overhead. Maybe walk the feet a little wider. Gentle back bend. And exhale. Hands back to prayer. If your breath has started to quicken, slow it down. Let's continue to flow. Inhale, reach those arms overhead. Interlace fingers and press the palms up towards the ceiling. Let's take it over to the left side this time. Great. Inhale back to center and over to the other side. Inhale back to center. Interlace the fingers behind your backs. Press the hands away from the body. Plant the feet down firmly. Lift the chest and breathe. Great. One more deep breath. And then release that. Bring your hands into prayer. Stretch your arms overhead and sink into your chair pose with your hands in prayer position. Step the right foot back for warrior two, spinning open alongside of the mat. Plant your feet down firmly. Maybe look for a little bit more depth. Front knee over the front ankle. Breathe. Keeping that front knee bent, reverse your warrior. Take that left hand, reach it up, lean it back, open up. Maybe turn your gaze back for a different perspective. One more deep breath. And inhale, come on back up, straighten the front leg and take triangle pose. You press that right shoulder open. Steady. Good. One more deep breath. And inhale to come all the way back up. Bring your hands into prayer position and rotate that front foot so that you've got both toes pointing towards the same side of the mat. Toe heel your feet in a little so that the heels are inwards and the toes are outwards, sinking into chair pose or a goddess pose. So you can stay here, hands on your thighs. You can just sink deep into goddess and just enjoy the opening of the inner thighs and working those muscles strongly. Bring your arms into eagle arms if you like. So just wrap one elbow under the other, and this should stretch out the back of the body. So soft gaze. Relax the shoulders. One more deep breath. Take a break here if you want. Just straighten the legs or just come over to the other side and do the same thing with goddess arms. You got it. One more deep breath. Alright, let's release. Hands on the waist, straighten the front leg, and an option to come into a star formation. Inhale to stretch those arms out, open up, expand the chest, turn your gaze up towards the ceiling or towards the skies. And then bring your hands back into prayer position. Rotate that back foot So your right foot towards the back of the wall to come into a warrior two. So back of the mat, come into warrior two. Steady gaze over those right fingertips. Keeping that front knee bent, reverse your warrior. Your front hand will reach, legs remain the same. Front hand reaching up or back. You can turn your gaze towards that back foot as well. Inhale, come on back up. Triangle pose, straighten that front leg. Right hand down towards the right knee, shin or ankle. And left hand straight up towards the ceiling and towards the sky. Perfect. One more deep breath like that. And inhale, come on back up. Place your hands on your waist and pivot the back toes so that now you've got both toes pointing again towards the same side. Pivot those heels inwards. Place your hands on your inner thighs. Sink into your temple pose. Press those thighs away from one another. So we're going to let the left shoulder drop. Press into that left thigh with the left hand. And right hand can pull a little. One more deep breath. Come on, back out, straighten the legs if you like, or right into the other side. And coming back to the center, straighten out those legs this time, and we'll take an inhale to stretch those arms overhead. Option to take a little bit of a back bend. And bring those hands back to prayer. It's tempting to come into sun salutation, but let's not. Push off the back foot to come to the top of the mat. Hands in prayer, inhale, reach those arms overhead. Sink into a chair pose. Come into a twist once again towards your left side. So you just want to keep the feet together. Twist towards the left side. Open the arms if you like. Okay. Bring it back to your prayer position just in case. So we're towards the left side. And we're going to step the right foot back into crescent lunge, a crescent twist. If this is hard for you, just release that right hand down on the ground and lift that left hand up towards the ceiling. As you do this, you want to make sure that the back leg is strong. If you want a softer version, lower that back knee down onto the mat. Let's go ahead and release that hand back down onto the mat. Keep the back toe curled under, maybe the knees off the mat as you lift up into crescent lunge, a strong crescent lunge. If you're alright to come into a bit of a back bend, bring your hands together and draw the shoulders and arms back, deepening and opening up to the front of the body. And then release the hands down onto the mat. Push off the back foot so that both feet are at the top of the mat. Chair pose. Straighten the legs, take a gentle back bend. And bring your hands back into prayer position. Let's keep going. Inhale, reach the arms overhead. And sink into chair pose. Bring your hands into prayer. Walk the feet closer towards one another, twisting towards the right side this time. Okay, carefully step that left foot back to come into a crescent twist. So take your time. If you have to, release the hands down onto the mat and readjust. Again, those options if you want left hand down, right hand up. Easier version. A little bit more control. The back knee can come down. You rotate back to the front. Let's take our crescent lunge. Inhale, reach those arms overhead. Come into crescent lunge. Looking for a bit of a back bend here if you like. Option. And come on, back up. Exhale, bring your hands down into the ground. Push off the back foot. Both feet at the top of the mat. Come into chair pose. And then sweep those arms overhead. Gentle back bend. And exhale. Bring your hands back to prayer. And let's come into a seated position next. Inhale, reach those arms overhead. Sink into a chair pose. So you can walk the feet out a little wider as you come into a squat. Do your best. Hands might be on the ground, hips might be lifted, or you can sink into more of a deep squat. Just want to feel those inner thighs open up. So even if you have your hands on the ground and your heels lifted up, you still want to keep the spine elevated and high. You don't want to drop the head. Good. And if it's safe for you to come into seated right here, you can go ahead and lower down into seated position. Just close your eyes. Hands on the thighs, on the knees. Restore your breath. We'll come into a seated twist next. Placing the right knee on top of the left. Straighten that left leg if you have to. Okay. If you feel any tension in that knee, you might as well straighten that left leg. So we're rotating towards the right side. Your backhand is just behind you for a little support. You can either wrap that arm around the right knee, so opposite arm around the right knee, or you can take that left arm, reach it up high, and then bring it to the outside. And as you do this, spine should rotate quite a little bit more, and as well, take your gaze towards the back. So you just want to give that just a little bit more of the spine. Your neck is part of the spine too. So take a few more deep breaths here. Unwind all the way to the other side for a bow. Not too deep. Okay, come on back and switch to the other side. So, as always, you can straighten the right leg and you can wrap the left arm around the right knee or take it into a deeper twist. There we go. So as you come into this twist, try to keep tension away from your upper body, especially your face and your neck. Just continue to breathe deeply. Relax the shoulders as well. Let's take that one more deep breath. Okay, let's carefully unwind back to center and a quick bow to the opposite side. And then finally, we're going to stretch those legs out in front of us. Okay, and then pointing the toes, placing the hands behind, stretching it as far back as comfortable. You're going to lift the chest and turn your gaze up towards the ceiling. One more deep breath. And then we'll release, walk the hands back in. So at this point, we can come into Shavasana on the back, but if you feel really uncomfortable on your back at this point, just come into seated and spend a few minutes in meditation. Or, just go about the rest of your day. I hope you enjoyed the class and I hope that it helped you. Thank you very much for joining me and enjoy the rest of your day. Namaste.